afternoon. You're listening to Cannabis Corner on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, broadcasting live from downtown New Haven. We are streaming live on TuneIn Radio and NewHavenIndependent.org. We're also streaming live video on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to your Facebook page, look us up, and hit see first to see and hear all the great programs we have here on WNHHLP. And just a reminder that Cannabis Corner is also streaming live on the Greenhaven Media Facebook page and YouTube page in procannabismedia.com. Well, it is Monday, September 16th, 2024. Welcome to Cannabis Corner. I'm your host, Joe LaChance, Joe the Weed Guy, and I am joined here, of course, by the illustrious and infamous Farmer Lou. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, brother? Doing all right, just kind of pushing through, making sure we're doing all right, and feeling how it goes. It's been one of those weeks, so,
Well, how was your week? We had a nice time at the Together We Grow on Thursday.
Yep. That was a really good time. We really want to thank Jennifer Schell from the CT Cannabis Chamber of Commerce from inviting us. She gave us all access pass, basically.
Yes, all
nice little pass. Table, and the radio show was there with Ryan, our videographer. So there will be some clips going on, and we kind of got to see everybody from the space. We kind of got to see and meet a ton of other people from the space down in Bridgeport. So it opened it up. Got to meet a lot of people that we have on the show. So we saw our friends from Shoreline.
A lot of people we want on this show.
A lot of people we want to have on the show, so even some of our controversial hopeful guests, So it's not even about who we want to have. Sometimes it's who we have to have.
We should have.
We got to hear what's going on.
Absolutely.
Know what I mean, Joe?
And I liked it because you had a mix. There were some corporate people there, but you had, like you said, Shoreline Hydroponics. You had a few other small businesses there as well. So it was kind of mixed. The food was very good.
The food was good.
And I like the arena. I had never been to the amphitheater. I have not seen a concert there yet. And it's a very nice space that they have there. I really enjoyed it. It was a good place to have an event. So, people want to look into that. I thought it was great.
So Together We Grow was great. And it's always nice to have those events.
Yep, and shout out to Connecticut for the first gathering of the High Society Club, which of course I missed.
Yep, I missed it as well. It's all part of how it goes, but it looked like it was a great turnout.
Yeah, so that'd be something like a monthly event, and I'm looking forward to more of them. But so that's a good thing.
Shout out to Connecticut, our friend and everything. So just if you're interested in listening and you're like, what are we talking about? Go to their Instagram, check their website out, and be part of that local community.
And who I ran into there was Erin Gorman. And Erin was there, and she wanted me to give a message, and she actually recorded a video, which I'm going to post. If you have any suggestions to Erin about legislation in the medical marijuana program, remember she's the medical ombudsman, please email her and let her know. She needs to put her recommendations into the legislator by November 1st. So she would like to have, October 1st, I'm sorry. She would like to have everything in as soon as possible. So if you have any suggestions about any regulations you would like to see change, any changes to the medical marijuana program, maybe reciprocity, maybe, there's a few different things that we could think of right now. But please email Erin and let her know, and I will look up her email and get it by the end of the show. But with that, I would like to bring on right now, hanging out in that corner, the lovely Kristen Souza. How are you this week, Kristen? Happy birthday to you. You had a birthday this weekend. So now you're 29, and that's
forever 29. Yes, exactly.
All
Yes, my
right. How
birthday
are
was
you,
Saturday.
Kristen?
I am good. I am good. It was a good weekend. I'd mentioned it before. My daughter in college, she's a cheerleader, and it's football season. So I spent my birthday watching college football, which was
Oh, that's
honestly
fun.
not bad. It's a quick shot up. Nice to see her. Got to see both of the kids. So very cool.
It was nice weather, football weather, so it was
It was
good.
actually hot. I was like sweating to
Really?
death. It was nice out, but yeah, I was like, much like I am now, I had on jeans and a sweater because I'm all embracing fall, and it was like 78 degrees out. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
the
nice.
sun seems hotter lately.
I'll
So
take it.
very good. So what's going on in the corner, Kristen?
What is going on? So yeah, we were talking, we've got some events coming up, and then I just wanted to highlight some not necessarily events, but changes that are happening in Connecticut with some of the cannabis legislation.
Yeah, we were
Um,
just talking about that. Let's hear it.
yeah.
So these are new things. When did they go into effect now? September, October 1st?
No, they were actually effective yesterday. So they went into effect on September 15th.
Okay, let's hear
And
them.
yeah, no, so the Connecticut Department of Consumer Protection announced a series of updates that are going to be impactful to cannabis policies and procedures. So this is both important to, consumers, patients, as well as folks that are in the space, operating businesses or getting ready to operate businesses. And I'm just going to hit them real quick, but if anybody is interested, go online and check out the DCP, or just type in Connecticut cannabis in the search bar. It'll bring you to the government site and you can read through them in more detail. But some of the more impactful ones, one is around lab testing. So one of the
Oh,
more
okay.
critical updates, is that they've revised the prohibition on all solvents. So they've introduced a table of allowable solvents with clear action limits, and they've also changed rules around testing. So folks or establishments can perform preliminary testing before obtaining a certificate of analysis. Depending upon how you look at it, some folks look at this as a favorable thing, some folks look at it as it's unfavorable. But the DCP does say that this adjustment is bringing Connecticut's regulations more in line with industry standards in other states, and it's making it it's giving more clarity to manufacturers. So I know folks with manufacturing licenses in this state were really struggling, especially if they had lines in other states, because our guidelines were so different. So that's something that went through. And the need for dual lab testing has also been eliminated. So previously you had to have dual lab testing. You no longer need that.
Oh,
So let's so I
Lou, you
guess
know about this.
Yeah,
it's
speak to
so
this.
what that is so first we'll go on the first part, the preliminary, which can increase, I don't want to say increase prices, but it might increase cost of goods sold, because now if they're pre-testing, that means it's an added cost. But again, eliminating the dual testing subtracts a cost. So hopefully, um, hopefully some of the producers will take that opportunity to lower the cost of their outputs, and we can only see what happens. You can't speak for everybody, obviously, but some people see it as a plus or a minus or whatever it is. When the complaint is that Connecticut is ridiculously, we all agree, Connecticut is
Yeah, it's
ridiculously
overregulated. Yeah.
overregulated, way too many price points. The low amount of labs I saw at Together We Grow, there'll be a new analytical lab coming in to play. So hopefully lowering the cost for those lab exams as well. So with more lab providers, there should be I guess, more of a spread on what the labs cost, because anybody that produces anything right now knows they can take an hour drive up to Massachusetts and get our labs at a seventh of the cost
price
of the labs. Yeah. You can run up to Connecticut. We go up to Massachusetts and you can get a analytical lab on one or two strains for under $200, where a full panel here in the state costs upwards of over $1,000. So
yeah,
there's a big difference in that cost.
And people complain about the costs here in Connecticut, but a lot of people got to realize that all these testing and all this stuff is added in. That's added on top. That's just part of the reason costs are higher in Connecticut.
Regulation will always cause things to be more expensive. And, one thing that anybody who's anti-government, because I've always been about fight the system, regulation is is the bane to any existence. So less regulation, I always see is better, but you want to, that also puts the earnest and the trust on the producers, because with less regulation, it means that the industry itself should become more upstanding.
Right.
So it's a give and take.
That's relying on the industry to regulate itself, and there are certain people who will, and there are certain people who won't. I mean,
that's just human nature, right?
And that's where people can voice that opinion with their dollars. Don't buy products by people who you think will take advantage of that, and then buy products from people who you believe won't take advantage of that. It'll also force manufacturers to make the decisions on where to source their products.
Absolutely.
Ethically sourcing your inputs goes a long way. If a manufacturer has an NDA to limit from advertising who they're getting their oil from, is bad on the industry side and bad on the public side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Kristen, so were there any other regulations? Or
I mean, there were a ton. The only other one I'm gonna really mention, and like I said, I mean, there were 10 that were highlighted. There were tons because this is Connecticut legislation, but among the impactful ones, that was one. And then another one around security. And within that, it's about product display. So anyone that's gone into a dispensary in Connecticut, you can't see it. You can't see it. You can't smell it. It's in that child tamper-proof packaging. That has shifted. Yeah, well, they changed that as of yesterday. So that's a huge change. So now retailers can open and display packaged cannabis so folks can view it, they can smell it, they can actually, I mean, you can't touch it, but that's pretty consistent across states.
Yeah, you don't
but you will be able to see the product before you buy it now. And of course, the dispensaries have some rules about what they've got to do with it after they open it and XYZ. But as small as that seems, it's just bringing us in line with some of the more normal states. It's crazy to buy a product you can't see or smell. So I thought that was a pretty big one.
That is a good one. I don't know if some of the producers would want that, but
or the individuals. Once that package is opened, it's now exposed to the elements, and once again,
a sample one
what happens.
Yeah,
it's put in the trust of people.
If other states do it, I know Massachusetts does, so I'm sure we can pull it off somehow. So what do we got going on for events, Kristen?
So for events, what we got going on? Well, on Wednesday the 18th, there is an event happening at the West Haven Public Library. So our friend Takesha Carter, she is from Native Nubian Wellness and also runs the podcast Black Women Who Blaze. She will be doing it's a 3-series workshop. So there'll be 3 different events. And the first one, like I said, is this Wednesday, talking about using cannabis for wellness and well-being and health. So check that out, 4 to 5, West Haven Public Library. You can get all the information online.
Okay.
Or 4 o'clock, right? Yeah. So early evening, late afternoon. But that's a really great thing. I love, workshops. She is a fantastic person to just learn from and listen to. So I definitely encourage y'all, if you're available, to do that.
Friend of the show. We've had her on a couple times. I like Takesha. She does great work out there.
Yeah, totally. We mentioned Connecticut earlier. Those guys have another something going on this coming weekend. So they do their hikes where they bop around to different areas in the state, and they'll do hiking at certain state parks and beaches and things like that. So this Sunday, the 22nd, they'll be doing a hike starting at noon, and it's at Lake Mohegan in Fairfield. So they always have folks just kind of meet up in the parking lot together. You get together and then, do the hiking yourselves. It's not instructor led, but the hikes are led by Terpene Finder. That's Matt Rader, and Beach Kitten, Sammy. So
that is the 22nd, this Sunday?
Yes, sir.
I might even be able to make that.
It's not far from my house. I want to make one. I did a couple of them last year. I have not gotten around to it this summer. I swear this summer flew by.
It's got to be one of the last ones now, right? Now that the weather's getting a little, should be getting.
You know what? I don't want to speak to it. I feel like they did them into October last year for foliage, but beyond that, yeah, they do start to tamper off.
That's right. I know there's a full moon paddle too tomorrow night down at Walnut Beach. That's with Happy Twisted High. If you're into that full moon and you want to go grab that energy, go down to the Walnut Beach Tuesday night, I believe. It's a full moon paddle and drum circle. So that ought to be fun.
Oh, very cool. So bring your kayak or canoe or whatever you got.
Or your life jacket, whatever you want to do.
Float around on that, right?
There you go.
What else do I have? You know, our friend Paul over at Bearded Wood reached out. He and a number of other friends of the show, but Fine Fettle is doing their Fettle Fest. So on the 21st, it will be in Bristol and Stamford locations. And on the 22nd will be Manchester and Old Saybrook. So that's their customer appreciation event. You can check that out. All kinds of folks that we know are over there. Blazin' J, Paul. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, those are always,
all those.
It's nice that he supports that Fine Fettle and them support the local industry, the local businesses, the ancillary businesses, and let them display out. I think those things are great.
Agreed. Yeah. When I had this store, I did a couple of them, and it's like you said, it's a good thing for the customers. They get to see some ancillary businesses. It's good for the ancillary businesses because we get more exposure to folks that never would have, maybe stumbled upon us otherwise. So
that's right.
Mutually beneficial. I don't want to segue too much into it because of our guest, but Boston Cannabis Week is currently running right now through the 21st. So you can just go online, Boston Cannabis Week. It's a week full of events, specials, dispensary tours, all kinds of good stuff.
And then that'll culminate with the Freedom Rally on Saturday, and we're going to be talking about that today. There's some local people speaking on that. I have a couple events. This Friday night, there will be a food and arts festival over at the Holy Ghost Park in Shelton. And, of course, Cannabis Corner and Greenhaven Media will be there. We'll be shooting footage and taping interviews. I will be hosting the show. So please come on down. That ought to be a good time. That's this Friday night. You can find out more about that from Burn and Learn. It's food and arts. We are going to have an edible contest there. So if you want to get your edibles judged, contact them at Burn and Learn, although I think the deadline passed. And then our friend Kadnisha, who we saw at the Together We Grow, has an event on the 27th, and it is called Blossoming Behind Bars, Women's Reentry Wellness Conference. So if you don't know, Kadnisha does a lot of great work out there, and one of our fellow hosts from the station, Babs Rawls-Ivy, will be speaking there, as well as La Rose Harvey. So Babs is the keynote speaker, and this is going to be Friday, September 27th from 9 to 3. It's a conference, and that's over at Whitney Avenue in Hamden. And if you want more information about that, you can contact Kadnisha Boyd in the Connecticut Women's Consortium. But this is it's a great event. It's for women who are getting out of prison, helping them make their reentry into society. So I think it's a really good cause. It's a great workshop. So that'll be on the 27th. So those are the two events that I had. Anything else, Kristen?
Hi.
I think that covers it.
All right. Well, I think our guest is here, even though I can't see him.
I'm so sorry.
I hope it's Tommy, because that's who I'm going to introduce. So with us now is Tommy Thompson. See if you can get your video working. Tommy Thompson with PR Plus. Tommy Thompson, if you don't know, designs a lot of the logos for the cannabis industry. He does graphic design and a lot of great stuff, PR and marketing. And he designed the Joe the Weed Guy logo that I just got done. Yeah. And I wanted to have him on because he is another one of these ancillary businesses that we speak about. And he's doing graphic design for the industry. So Tommy, how are you today?
I'm very fine, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great. You and I had been contacting each other online on Facebook, and you offered to design the logo. And, I figured I'd take a shot. And you came up with something really nice. I'm going to show it. But what I found out was that you had designed, as soon as I showed people the logo, they knew right away that it was your work. And I thought that was great because you've established a real good reputation for yourself out there in the cannabis industry.
Thank
Tell
you
us a
so
little bit
much.
about how you got into graphic design and all that.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Tommy Thompson, and I'm right here. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. All thanks to Joe. So I actually got into graphic design at a very early age. I was just playing around, trying to design stuffs on the internet, and the tools available to me, I was able to, put that to good use, and I was learning, Adobe Illustrator, a um Corel Draw and the likes, and gradually I started developing this very nice interest in the field. And to just keep the long story short, we've been doing this for like close to a decade now. So, and I don't only do graphic design, I actually design websites too. So that's what we're trying to do at PR Plus. We're just trying to.
Ooh, I lost you there. You're trying to design websites. I guess we lost him. Tommy, are you there? So anyway, Tommy has designed a lot of the logos for a lot of people who we know. I know he did Cat's Meow. He's done quite a few. I wanted him to tell us a little bit about more what he does. But Kristen,
What I think we can say is that we just want to continue to showcase individuals that are part of this community who have found a way to move from the ancillary side into, I mean, from another industry and kind of bring themselves in here, adding to their repertoire and creating a space. As the industry legitimizes itself and continues to grow, we'll find more people that are willing to work within the space. We all know firsthand. We all know firsthand how hard it is to sometimes partner with people or even do community service. I found throughout this endeavor, there's companies that will say no, we don't want to work with cannabis branding or cannabis businesses. We found that there's nonprofit organizations that are very against cannabis.
Hesitant, right? Very hesitant.
We want to, and they don't want to be publicized that they were helped or had anything to do with the cannabis business. So finding other like-minded individuals like this that we can bring out and showcase and kind of give a couple minutes to give them their flowers, one might say.
Tommy, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, very good. So I wanted to touch base a little bit, piggybacking off what Lou said. You've been doing this for 10 years. What made you decide to kind of focus on and get into the cannabis side of it? Because you could be doing designs for anybody, really. And I'm sure you have.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this question. Actually, I actually studied. I had a research paper in the cannabis field. I actually studied physiology, medical physiology. It's a branch of medicine and surgery. So I had this research work in the effect of cannabis sativa on reproductive parameters in humans. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So the research work actually, gave me this little insight into the wonderful things that cannabis can actually do in our society if the government can really give these very huge opportunities for researchers and for everybody to just explore the world of cannabis. So I developed this interest in it, and I just decided, why not? Let me just really just focus on very small brands doing this thing that I love, which is cannabis, and maybe we could just help them rewrite their brand story, help them get into their full potential, where they can just grow their business and do well in the field. So that's it basically.
And you have done it. Tell us a couple of the people. Here's my logo. It looks real nice. I really like it. And you and I worked together on that. We tweaked it a little.
Yeah,
it's very nice. I think it captures me, and this is how I wanted it. I wanted to be a caricature of myself, and you did a really great job. But you've done logos for tons of people in the cannabis industry. Do you want to give
Yeah.
a shout out to any of your clients?
Oh yeah. Shout out to Jane, the two Janes, Jennifer and Jane. Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Kamura Harrington. She's been so wonderful. Shout out to, I mean, a lot of people. I can't even like the names are not popping in my head right now, but I've done for tons of people in the field, and I'm just so happy that I was given the chance to to help them rewrite their story. This is 2024. Companies and brands are just trying to broaden their horizon, especially in the online field. So I'm just happy I was able to help them in my own little capacity to push their agenda, their brand agenda forward.
I like that. And then when you say Jen, you mean Burn and Learn. So you did the Burn and Learn logo, the Sweet Leaf Living, right?
The Sweet Leaf Living.
Yeah. So you work for Jen. Now, when you do a website, have you done websites for the cannabis industry, or is that something you're looking to do? So if somebody out there would like to get their website done, they can get in touch with you. Do you have any websites they can look at?
Yeah. Sorry, Joe. I have tons of websites I've done in the field. There's this brand, Live Vision. We can check it out. Anybody can just Google it or something. Live Vision is in New Jersey. I developed a website. It's a small cannabis industry. They're just trying to. Though currently the website is, I don't know if the website is, because that was a year ago, and the brand have been struggling to get license, so they've not really been. We had to put a pause to that. There's also this brand, High Caliber Clone Company. You can check it out on Google. Yeah, High Caliber Clone Company. I developed a website for them, highcaliberclonecompany.com. We're able to sit down together. I was able to understand what the brand was actually their main objective of having a website. And I was able to captivate all that and put into the website, because anybody can design a website, but the fact that you can actually convey your clients' ideas and their ideology into the website, so that when their prospective customers or their clients come into the website, they are convinced that this is a reputable and this is a brand they can work with or they can shop from or whatever. So I was able to do that, and they were so happy we could come up with our website our website are actually we come up with website in less than a month, because we work around the clock here to make sure our clients are happy. The only goal we have is to create a wow impression. So that's what we do. Thank God.
And I think you're doing a really great job at that. Like I said, your work is out all over in the cannabis industry, and you have a really great reputation out there. A lot of people like what you've done. If you want to look at some of his logos, that's you can go to Sweet Leaf Living, Cat's Meow, Kamora Harrington, Kamora's Cultural Corner. So there are a lot of different people who can vouch for Tommy, and he has a great reputation out there in the industry. Now, how would one get a hold of you if they wanted to get your services?
All right. Actually, the easiest way to do that is just send me a DM on Facebook, Tommy Thompson. So that's like the easiest to reach out to me. Just send a DM, and I'm on Facebook like 24/8, if that's possible. So just send me a DM.
I know you reply very quickly.
Yeah. So just send me a DM and we're good. We're just going to schedule an appointment, maybe a call, so I can fully understand what your brand entails. Sometimes we don't even need to jump on a call. It might be as simple as just chatting on the app, and we're good.
Yeah, no, you did a great job, and all we ever did was communicate online.
Yeah.
So Tommy Thompson on Facebook or on Instagram. Do you have an Instagram?
No, I don't have an Instagram. Just Facebook.
Just Facebook. So the best way to reach you is through Facebook, Tommy Thompson, and then you can use your services. Well, Tommy, I want to just thank you for everything you do out there in the industry.
Thank you too, Joe.
Very much so, and thank you for contacting me, and thank you for the great work you did on our logo. So again, if you want to reach Tommy, you can reach him on Facebook, Tommy Thompson. You can talk to him about your website, or your logo or branding your company can help you with the direction for your brand. Tommy, thank you very, very, very much. And we hope to see you out there in the, at some of the events.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm just happy you're giving me this opportunity just to put myself out there. I'm so grateful. And before I leave, there's a token of appreciation. I would actually like to give up to 75% discounts to every listener listening. If you have, like, maybe you need to rebrand your company, maybe you need some graphic design done or like a web design, just shoot me a DM and just mention Joe. To make that
mention Joe Cannabis Corner. Tell them to mention, if they mention Cannabis Corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then, so because they're radio listeners, right? So if they mention Cannabis Corner, we'll give them a discount. So Tommy's offering a discount to all our listeners. If you mention Cannabis Corner in the DM, and he will give you a nice discount on your next logo design. Very good, Tommy, or your website design. Thank you so much again, Tommy, and appreciate that. I know you gave me a graphic. I will put that out there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Joe. I'm super grateful.
All right, Tommy. Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a wonderful day, Joe.
All right. Excellent. All right. That was great. Tommy's a great guy, and he does great work, so we should all support him. He's a nice young guy just getting into the industry, wants to help cannabis because he believes in it. And speaking of cannabis and people who believe in it right now, we have with us Lucas Thayer, and Lucas Thayer is with the Massachusetts Cannabis Reform Coalition. And the 501c4 nonprofit will be presenting the 35th annual Boston Freedom Rally, an event like no other. The Freedom Rally traditionally takes place on the third Saturday of September. This year, it lands up September 21st, which is this Saturday. The event draws a crowd of roughly 10,000 people annually, with a focus on education, community, music, art, and celebration. The Boston Freedom Rally has something for everybody. We strive to end the stigma surrounding the cannabis plant, change regulations and policies at the local, state, and national level, and to encourage and empower new activists to do the same. Many current directors of the organization remember the Boston Freedom Rally as their first cannabis protest and perhaps their first protest of any kind. The theme of this year's rally is a quote from Governor Healy with a twist. Continued advocacy. Keep the joint rolling. The Freedom Rally begins at high noon and ends at 8 p.m. this Saturday, September 21st. Lucas, how are you? You need to unmute.
Great.
There you go.
Thank you so much for hosting me. I'm going to start the video as well.
All right. How you been, Lucas? Good to see you.
Doing great. It's been a lot of work setting up for this Freedom Rally. I'm here in Cambridge Common right now in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I'm about to go hand out flyers for the Freedom Rally in Harvard Square. And so we've been doing a lot of preparation in the way of permit applications. We've got all of our permits lined up, approved, signed by all of the officials in the city that need those permits to be available and signed. So that's been a feat. Shout out to all of our directors that have done their part on that. And we've been working towards getting interest in the rally, of course, with our social media promotions. And we're building our new website, which is going to be rolling out pretty soon. We've released a new logo now recently. So go check out our new logo, see what you think of that. And we've also been doing, as we say in the theme, continued advocacy, working on certain bills in the state legislature to promote equity in the medical marketplace. And that's H4409. And then S1082 in the state Senate. We're working to allow for reciprocity, medical reciprocity. And then we're also working on some hemp bills as well. And we've been doing advocacy at the federal level, at the DNC, RNC, at the White House, and in Washington, D.C. in April. And so we plan to continue doing that advocacy at the federal level. And we're really excited for our major fundraiser of the year. Our vendor booths are packed, but there's still a few vendor booths available. So if anyone's looking to represent their brand, represent their company, there's space available both in the 21 plus area, in the general admission area. I believe our food court area is full, so there's no more spaces for food vendors, I think. But we have some farm stand booth spaces available and some local artist booth spaces available, as well as nonprofits. So if there's anyone that falls into those three categories, certainly look into the application process for that. It's not too late. There's still time for you to get a booth if you wish. We're also looking forward towards the MJ BizCon in Las Vegas. We've been invited to go out there and represent the organization for a second time as well. So that'll be very interesting to be able to represent ourselves on the national level there. And so all around, the org has been doing a lot of great work to get the Freedom Rally to be an amazing presentation. We'll be having glass blowing demonstrations. We'll have a 21 plus area. We'll have a general admission stage as well. Our headliners have been announced. We'll be having Fortunate Youth as our main stage headliner. We're having Wax perform on the 21 plus stage. We're also having Joe Samba as a backup artist on the main stage. And we have several other artists, local and national acts, coming around to perform for us. And so there's also going to be the Education Village stage. We can't forget that. That's what we started on, really, was on education. So we'll have a lot of great panelists on the Ed Village stage. And we also have just a lot of great guests coming out to participate in all sorts of levels. So if you're in the Northeastern Seaboard right now, certainly start making some plans to be in Boston at high noon on September 21st.
Well, I know that I love the Freedom Rally. And when you said in the intro there, you said it was your first cannabis protest, it was mine. My first cannabis protest. I remember when I was working up in Massachusetts at the school. They told me Kara was actually ahead of Mascan at the time, and she was actually running the thing. And boy, she told me about it. And when I got there, I could not believe the size and the way that Boston Commons was just filled with cannabis enthusiasts. And it was just a great scene to see. You know, being from Connecticut, we didn't have legal weed at the time, and weed wasn't even legal up there at the time. It was medical. I just think you guys have always put on a great event. And there's a rich history behind it, not only behind the event, but behind Mascan itself, and also the MCRC. So are you guys teaming up on this, MCRC and Mascan, or are you now joined together?
Our organization is a standalone organization. We have put out an invitation to all local nonprofit organizations that are interested in hosting a table or a booth at the rally in whatever capacity they wish. But at this time, we're not claiming alignment with any organization other than our own.
Okay.
You know, and Joe, I'd love to piggyback off of that, man. You know, you guys have put in so much work, and you're a nonprofit. You've really put in so much education at the forefront of this for years. For absolute years. We have, as Joe said, for myself, this was the first place, especially coming up from New York and Connecticut, basically. The Boston Freedom Rally pre-pandemic was such an eye-opener for a lot of us in the beginning of our cannabis journey, especially not being from Massachusetts and seeing this as we've grown up. But I've been able to now share this experience with friends from Virginia, from Florida, from the Midwest, from the Southeast, and they come up and they see this. And maybe you can share, how long has this event been going on?
So this event is the 35th annual Boston Freedom Rally. So the organization became active as an org. I suppose that would be 1989 or 1990. Now, we did take the year off for the pandemic for our in-person event, but we did not take the year off entirely. The organization hosted a virtual Boston Freedom Rally.
I remember that.
So conducted a series of panels and speeches and musical acts that were performed from at-home studios or parks like this, or wherever people were able to get a good signal to do a Zoom call. So it really showed that the organization was able to overcome the challenges of the pandemic survive as an org through the pandemic and even host our annual event in some capacity, even though we weren't really allowed to do anything in the park. And then the following year, we weren't really officially given our permits until 36 days before the rally. So it took 36 days to plan an entire Freedom Rally in 2021. So really, it goes to show how each year the board of directors has overcome challenges that are unique to them to come through and host a great event and be able to continue this annual tradition for so long, even with the changing of the guard, so to speak, over the past decade. I've seen lots of new directors come and go, and still we've been able to uphold this tradition of hosting a free event on the Common every year.
No, and I think you guys do a great job. And the organization itself has a long history in Massachusetts. You guys have been leading the charge in legalization from the beginning. Realistically, you guys were the top activism group, and I believe you still are in Massachusetts. So, I want to give a shout out to you guys because, like you said, the organization itself has been through a lot of different things. I know in the beginning you were affiliated with Normal, as we were, and eventually dissolved that partnership for the same reasons we did. And you've still been able to maintain as a standalone organization, not that they did anything for you anyway, but
well, I think, Joe, it shows the perseverance of what activism can do.
Yes.
Even as legalization has come in, and we say that even down here as a nod to what's going on up there and throughout the country, especially with this event being one of the longest running acts of social gathering and social protest.
Disobedience is how it started out, right?
Yeah, social disobedience. But now it's kind of come to a little bit bigger than that, and it really does show the power of the people in activism and getting out there in a show of, I don't want to say a show of force because this is a very peaceful event, but it's what the community can do for itself. I know that one of the big things that are focused on is the peaceful portion of this, as well as leaving a nice clean space, showing that we can break all the stigmas as cannabis users, quote unquote stoners, break the stoner stigmas, but we can show that through hard work, dedication, that like you guys have done to create this event, because it takes a lot of work and it's a lot of manpower with very few people doing it, and the dedication through the years is absolutely amazing. Lucas, you have been an individual from the very forefront, as well as the rest of your team and the team that you work with. Would you like to shout out some of those great people that have been doing a lot of great work? Because, we see it online on Facebook, on Instagram, and kind of see, those individuals doing this as a volunteer, nonetheless. Like, that's a big part of it. These are volunteer individuals who are literally putting the time, the effort to help push this all through. Can we shout out some of the members of your board?
Sure. I'm going to shout out all of them.
Our
president, Lisa Peralt, our treasurer, Mike Clinton, our press secretary and member liaison, Kayla Hanlon, and our other directors, Ben Hadley, Laura Boehner, Kyle Moon, Richard Tomalovich, the second, have all been really great at everything that they're doing. And I guess me too, I did some stuff. My name's Lucas there. And all of these directors have been an incredible group of people to work with. And all of their support staff, like behind each of these people is a whole group of people that's trying to keep us sane through this process that we're, by the way, constantly questioning whether or not this was the right choice to join this board. So we're glad we did. But if anyone goes back and watches the video of the election in January, none of us wanted to do it. You can see that in the words that we said in the election in January. None of us wanted to do this. None of us signed up for this. We all did this because if this group of people didn't sign up for this job this year, nobody would have done all of the work. And then the Boston Freedom Rally would not have happened. Yeah. And it really took the threat of dissolution of the organization and discontinuation of the tradition of civil disobedience on the Boston Common and hosting the Boston Freedom Rally to get this team together and to get this work done. And so really anyone that is listening to this and likes the Boston Freedom Rally and wants it to continue happening, please consider joining the organization as a member, but more than that, participating in these committee meetings, participating in the volunteer sessions where we're at the storage unit hauling old stuff that has mouse turds out and deciding what's trash and what isn't trash. I mean, a lot of this isn't the glamorous part that you see on the rally. A lot of this is the work of being on a board of floating directors that sometimes come and go, and sometimes volunteers can only do so much. And
Right.
so we've spent a lot of time this year cleaning up messes that it's nobody's fault that these messes existed. It's just the fact that these directors are all working for free. So some of them just tend to stop at some point in time. And so there's much more work to do in terms of fixing the issues that the organization has. And we are working on the bylaws too. So joining the membership allows access to the bylaws committee, which allows you to input on how the bylaws get shifted to make them more member friendly or more effective as an organization as a whole. So all of this directional work is being done concurrently with the organization's work of throwing the rally. We're trying to get our stuff together as an org. We're in good tax status, which we were not at the beginning of the year. We have all sorts of things to work out, but this board this year has done many really good things to get the organization in a status where we can continue operating for years to come.
Wow.
So really great thank yous to all of the current board members and really to all of the previous ones that have given us guidance on how to do the tough stuff, because there's lots of tough stuff not even related to the rally that we needed to accomplish this year. And we really needed and still do need the advice of people that know how to do the things that we might not know how to do so well. So shout out to all of those previous directors too many to name, previous people that aren't even with us anymore that kicked our butts into gear to get volunteering and get on the whatever capacity of volunteering that means to you with this organization. If Lou had mentioned, oh hi Lou, by the way, Lou had mentioned cleaning up trash, and that's a huge critical point here. I mean, this rally does generate a significant amount of trash, and there are trash barrels provided. But if people can pack out some of their trash, especially the larger items, not plan on leaving large broken tents are really difficult to deal with. Couches are not cool. Please don't leave couches on the common. Any of these larger items, if you're planning on bringing them to the rally, take them home with you. Clean up as much trash as you can. Bring it with you. This is a public park. This is the oldest public park in the country. The city, by the way, shout out to the city. All the city department directors, all of the city, any of the liaisons that we've dealt with the city of Boston have been super cool with us about every little step of the way. If we needed permits, they helped us. They held our hand through the process. They guided us through the things that were difficult to do. They were really cooperative and really enthusiastic about supporting this event. And the permits, while we did have to pay some money for all of our permits, the permit fees themselves were fairly reasonable. Really, in all of the ways, shout out to all of those city department directors that were just super cool and easy to deal with on this process. Even from the get-go, our first meeting that we had with them, it was like a sound off from every department saying, yeah, you guys are cool. Yeah, do what you want.
Now that's a
get
change.
your fire permit. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a change because
I
like
remember.
you were saying, 36 days before?
Right. There have been years when the city didn't want us to do our thing. And this year, the city over and over again said, what can we do to help you do the Boston Freedom Rally correctly, safely, and cool for everybody? So really, like, we got no negative words for any of those city officials right now, which is a great position to be in 5 days before the rally.
New governor, right?
A new governor and a new mayor.
There
we have
you
Mayor
go.
Michelle
I wonder
Wu.
why. Marty, right?
We have
Marty.
Governor Maura Healey, and this new leadership understands that the rally needs to take place, will take place, and has set forth a clear set of guidelines for us to do our party the way that we want it to, in a safe, legal manner. And there's really just been very little pushback on anything. We're having a glass blowing demonstration at the Boston Freedom Rally on Saturday, September 21st.
Real quick, tell us a little bit about the consumption regulations and what people should look out for on the Boston. I know there was one year we went there where they were literally picking, giving people tickets at the Freedom Rally. So how are they going to be this year? Probably a little better.
I am not a lawyer and I cannot give legal advice. The law in the state of Massachusetts says that smoking cannabis openly in public, smoking cannabis openly in public is illegal in the state of Massachusetts. Okay. And you're not allowed to do that. And you are at risk of a $300 fine if you smoke cannabis openly in public in a park in the state of Massachusetts. The city of Boston has an additional prohibition on smoking of any kind in the city parks, especially and specifically in the Boston Common. So smoking of anything in the Boston Common is prohibited, and you might potentially get a $300 ticket for doing it. So you really shouldn't do that, and it's not something that's okay.
Okay. So on that note as well,
that's where I said
if you're just listening on audio, he's holding up a pipe while he's doing that.
It's all right. And just remember, those who are going to come down, pay respect to the organizations that are doing what they're doing. Don't go back there thinking you're just going to backpack your way through the Boston Freedom Rally. We really, I know that everybody involved would really appreciate if people are not doing the backpack thing. So if you know, don't go back there backpacking. It's not what the whole thing's about, and do the right thing, especially because everybody is putting themselves on the line and there's a lot of things going on.
Right.
Just respect the organizations that are going through, and do not do the backpack thing.
Yep. And we got about 2 minutes left, Lucas. I did want to say that thank you for having a few Connecticut speakers up there. So there will be some Connecticut people. I know Duncan from Better Ways is speaking, and the Green Grow Woman, and I'm sure there are a few more. But you got a lot of great speakers up there too. Anybody in particular? Who's the keynote this year?
Well, my dear friend Berman Supreme, a presidential candidate and satirical activist, a colleague of mine, has been selected as the final speaker. I don't know if he's officially the keynote speaker. I'd say Bobby Nuggs is probably the keynote speaker, but Berman is the last speaker, and he'll be delivering some form of address to the public, hopefully encouraging some activism, some continued advocacy, some safe civil disobedience. And for those who aren't familiar, he is a presidential candidate who's been running since 1992. He wears a boot on his head, promises free ponies for all Americans, federal funding for time travel research, mandatory toothbrushing laws, and zombie-powered electricity. His recent campaign has added the interstate roller coaster to his platform.
Well, so, I think I may end up voting for him because he sounds like he might be better than what we got. But
well, we don't endorse any political candidate here at MassCan, but in terms of activism and advocacy, Berman has been a great example for myself personally, and for a lot of people within the org, and over the course of many years has spoken at the rally many times. So he's a veteran of the rally stage, so to speak, and we look forward to his performance. I also got to give a shout out to my buddy Jack in the band 80, coming up all the way from New Jersey to perform for us as the opening act. So that's 12:30 p.m. on the main stage. So if you get there at high noon like you're supposed to, like we said you should, then you'll be seeing Jack Schaefer with 80 performing on the main stage at 12:30. And we have all sorts of really fabulous acts scheduled throughout the day, really great speakers. These panels that we assembled are really wonderful. We had a great team with the education committee assembling those panels. And again, with the ed committee, we had our mentors holding our hands, working with us the entire time, making sure that we had the right connections to get the Education Village up and running. And I got to give that shout out to Catherine Rifkin, who is really the founder of the Ed Village. portion of the Masscan Boston Freedom Rally. So shout out Catherine Rifkin, and thanks for all your help with the Edge Village this year. We have these amazing storyboards panels, which we're in dire need of repair. We got those repaired up, and they'll be looking good for the rally. So a lot of work has gone into a lot of different aspects of this event, and certainly check out those Education Village panels if you get the chance. A lot of these speakers came in from far away for those panels, and they have a lot of knowledge they want to drop on anyone willing to listen. You might get something valuable, something monetarily valuable out of some of those speaker panels. Learn how to make habits.
Hey, to interrupt, Lucas, we're so sorry. But so let's just get that last round in. We only have a couple moments left. Where can they find information on the Boston Freedom Rally? The Facebook page, the internet site, and Instagram, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So the Instagram is masscan.org, MASSCANNORG. The Facebook page is Masscan, or Massachusetts Cannabis Reform Coalition. And also, I think we've got the Facebook page Boston Freedom Rally as well. And then on the website, it's www.masscan.org. That's masscan.org. And certainly join as a member and volunteer at the Freedom Rally if you got some time, and come and visit.
All right, Lucas, we're looking real forward to seeing you this weekend. Everybody come on up to the Boston Freedom Rally. It's going to be a great time. A lot of good Connecticut people up there, a lot of people from Rhode Island, all over this great New England and everywhere else. That's this Saturday, high noon on the Boston Commons. Lucas, thank you so much for being with us. Look forward to seeing you, and thank you for all the great work that you guys have done up there in the Massachusetts community. You've led the way for us in Connecticut. So thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for that recognition, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Lucas. All right, Lou, we got to sign off. Any last words?
We're signing off, and we want everybody to remember that they need to stay happy, healthy, and high. And hopefully we'll do that all together at high noon and at 420 this weekend at the Boston Freedom Rally.
All right, Kristen, any last words?
No, thank you, Lucas. It was great having you on, and also to Tommy, and everyone have a fabulous week.
All right, Harry, hit that music. We're ready to go. You can follow us.
Thank you.
At Joe the Weed Guy, Greenhaven Media on YouTube, and join the new forum, greenhavenmedia.com. We'll see you all next week. We got a lot of great things going on. And we'll see you this Friday night at the Burn and Learn and the Freedom Rally on Saturday.